My name is Alina Yi, Director of Student Multicultural Activities. And when he came and talked to me, well, first of all, shared his story with me. And then I thought of every possible way to get his story out. And in fact, if you're listening to Rhode Island Public Radio, his story is actually going to be heard by thousands and thousands of people on Rhode Island Public Radio tomorrow on a show called This I Believe. So check it out. This evening is co-sponsored by a couple of other departments, campus ministry. So Father Brophy, who was so open and willing to co-sponsor this, and also Dr. Carlson from the philosophy department. Thank you, Dr. Carlson.
I got to meet Cisco when I first moved out here, my first day of work during orientation, and didn't really get a chance to know him until a couple weeks ago when we created this poster together. We sat down, we had a chance to share our stories together, and he asked me to present this. I don't like using the word disability. I think that we're all differently abled. We're actually planning on going skiing and surfing this summer, so if you guys would like to challenge yourself and join us, we'd love that. I also have a disability. I have one eye. I got shot when I was 15. It was just a random drive-by shooting. It took me a while. You know, I was really self-conscious. I had to go back to school with eye patch on my eye. My only dream at the time was to come play D1 basketball at a school like this. And anyway, make a long story short, I ended up, they caught the guys. They were 7 years older than me, something like that. And they both got jail time. I ended up going and meeting one of them in prison 7 years later. Was able to forgive him. And so those are the few points that I had was just, you know, be grateful for what you have, don't judge, challenge yourself, and forgive those people who hurt you as hard as it may be. And one of the things with sharing our stories, it's something I truly believe in. If we are all able to share our stories tonight, we would all connect on some level, one way or another. And when I got a chance to sit down with Cisco, and I mean, since then, I mean, it's only been a few weeks, I know this kid will be at my wedding, I'll be at his wedding, and he's a lifetime friend, you know, in a few weeks, because we've had a chance to really get to know each other. And one of the things that some of you guys may know, may not know, but he's an amazing poet, and so we shared some. I write lyrics, and so I'm going to share a little. It's the first lyrics I ever wrote, and before I bring him up here. So, I'm only 15, stuck in between reality and a dream, and life's not quite like it used to seem. No predictable routine, scheme, theory, or theme, or hope for a vaccine to redeem the obscene that I've seen through a gleam of light. The night that I almost lost my life. But see, it's all alright, cause I was far too heavy for that lightweight fight. And despite the fact that you frightened my life, you only heightened my sense, and hence was an enlightening suspense. Cause when your life's on the line, it's unintense and immense, natural mechanism of defense like a sixth sense. So Josh Sweeney and Frank Leaders was at your expense. Yeah, I lost my eye to a drive-by, but I'm still alive with a heart full of pride and not willing to ride on the grind all the time cause I'm not satisfied. Still feel the pain deep down inside. Blood pouring out my face every pace and stride, even tied me down for the ambulance ride. And when I arrived, Doc looked me in the eye and said that I should have died. But the worst pain of all was every single time my mother and little brother cried by the side of my hospital bed, thought I was dead, but instead I was revived. Couldn't subside or deprive my will to survive. And yeah, I wanted my revenge, at least eye for an eye, but instead I decided to arise and let karma justify. Without further ado, Francisco Oller.
I'd like to thank Ms. Elena Yee, Justin Brophy, and Dr. Carlson for giving me this opportunity, and my former high school teacher, Mr. Cicada, and all my friends for their unconditional support in this project. I want to thank God for the life He has given me, for the strength, love, and wonderful family He has blessed me with. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Francisco Oller, but many of you know me by my nickname Cisco. I was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Some of you may ask, how did someone all the way from Puerto Rico end up in Providence College? Well, I made it here because I had the courage and determination to experience something new. Wanted to grow as a person and explore Providence's well-known academics. I was born with a rare genetic disease called Pelizaeus-Merzbacher. The mutation I have of the disease is the mildest case known, very significantly among those affected by a specific genetic mutation. In my case, the disease affects the development of the wet matter of my nervous system, which affects my motor ability, but not my cognitive functions. PMD, as this disease is also known, primarily affects my ability to walk. This condition has required surgery, braces on my legs, and ongoing physical therapy for years, but I'm totally independent in my self-care and mobility. Nevertheless, in order to maintain my ability to walk, I've faced a lifetime of hard work and multiple medical and surgical procedures. I'd like to share with you some of the lessons that I have learned as a result of having to overcome certain challenges because of my disability. The view that handicap limits one's ability to live life to the fullest is a lie. I consider myself to be handy-capable and not handicapped because I've developed the skills needed to navigate in an adult world with gradually increasing self-confidence. As a piece of clay, I, with the support of those around me, have molded myself not to survive in society, but to live and be a part of it. Instead of concluding that life is tough and unfair, I've chosen to persevere and to become what author Norman Vincent Peale calls a possibilitarian. By being a possibilitarian, I was able to raise my sights and see the possibilities, no matter how dark my life seemed to be. Always look for the possibilities, for they are always there. Although I never learned to ride a bike or skateboard, this never deterred me from enjoying my youth. Being treated with such prejudice early on in my life traumatized me for a long time. I became quiet and reserved. I was also afraid to tell people about my disability because I felt that they might treat me as harshly as my classmates had previously done. I truly just wanted to be like everyone else. As a result of this bullying, one of the major concerns I've dealt with throughout my life is the belief that I'm being a burden to my friends because I have to look for ways to include me in activities. To deal with this feeling, I've kept a positive attitude and a smile on my face, but on the inside I've been suffering because I saw myself as disabled instead of unique because of my disability. I realized how negative emotions and thoughts can overwhelm you and lower your self-esteem. Some of you may have experienced this feeling sometime during your lives. I have felt rejection because of my physical state in the same way that you have felt rejection for other reasons. One of the many times I felt it was after my senior farewell. All my classmates went to lunch together as a class, and I was not invited. After spending my middle and high school years with them, I thought they would invite me. I learned about the event later on when I looked at pictures on Facebook. I felt rejected, angry, and sad that my own classmates didn't care about me enough to invite me to a class event. Rejection can be overcome with a positive attitude. Suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. Later, I developed the belief that humility is essential to our well-being, because without help and interaction from others, it would be almost impossible to accomplish our goals, be successful, and enjoy life to the fullest. I have good and bad days. I have issues and insecurities as you may have your own. I encourage you to never give up on your dreams, passions, and goals. There's something better and bigger for you in life. As Helen Keller says, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. When I was a baby, I had a delay in my walking. At age 10, I walked, but with trouble finding my balance. And by age 14, I needed surgery for my well-being. Before my surgery, I used to walk with a hump and was virtually on my knees, diminishing my appearance and causing personal pain. I'm grateful for the medical world, because without it, I would forever be at a loss when it comes to my body functions. In the summer of 2008, my parents and I realized that I was no longer able to maintain my balance while walking without holding on to something or someone. That summer, we decided, with the advice from my doctors, to get leg surgery at the Kennedy Krieger Institute, division of Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. The Kennedy Krieger Institute is a center for children with disabilities. At that moment, I did not realize it, but getting leg surgery and spending 2 months rehabilitating would forever change my outlook on life. I saw that my fellow patients in the hospital were happy, despite having challenges that surpassed my own. I realized that God has a purpose and a plan for you on this earth, and that you are perfect just the way you are. During the time I spent rehabilitating for my surgery at the Kennedy Krieger Institute, I pushed myself to a full extent to achieve my own rehabilitational goals. At the same time, I was able to motivate others to achieve their full potential with a positive attitude, a will to adapt, assess risks, and laugh at life. My fellow patients also taught me that it is better to act than to dwell. do not mind having a disability. It simply makes me who I am. There have been many times that I felt I really needed help. Going up the hills on campus every day is exhausting, but I'm afraid to ask for help. Sometimes people are hesitant to ask me if I need help when they see me struggling up a hill. Please do not be afraid to ask me if I need help. Often just an illusion. This is why every time there is a challenge, I decide not to give up and to find a way to make it to class. If I give up on my goals for small things such as snow or rain, I would have not gone as far as I have in life. Some days, but not many, I don't feel like getting out of bed. Starting every day is challenging, from getting around school to getting breakfast. These are challenges that I take great pride in completing every day. In the end, what carries me is the understanding that I will never let anything get in my way of enjoying life to the fullest. I think of the biblical passage which says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God and Jesus Christ concerning you." As Helen Keller said, we should long to accomplish great and noble tasks, but it is our chief duty to accomplish humble tasks as though they were great and noble. The world is moved along not only by the mighty shoves of materials, but also by the aggregate of the tiny pushes of each honest worker. Through these experiences in my life, I developed the belief that God places every happy and sad moment in our lives to remind us that He has a plan for each of us. My mother changed her perspective on my life just like I did when she read an email from Ms. Patty Davia, who is a PMB Foundation member, on October 6, 1998. She wrote, "I know Francisco's problems are difficult to deal with, but we cannot always understand God's ways. Why He allows one person to deal with a problem while another has a different problem is not for us to know. We have to remember that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. God is not punishing or rewarding you or Francisco by giving Francisco his problems. He has a plan for your lives, and part of the plan includes this problem. Look for positive things. Concentrate on them. Count your blessings, because you have many. Do not spend time thinking about what Francisco cannot do. He can do a lot. He's very handsome. He can show up and has a beautiful smile. He can never be the child his brother is, but neither can his brother be the child Francisco is. If they were both normal, there would still be differences. One would excel in areas the other cannot, and vice versa. Francisco will teach you and your entire family something no one else can. He will help you all to be better, more sensitive, caring people. He will give 110% in his efforts to do things, while other able-bodied individuals complain and whine. You need to thank God for giving you this special child and start enjoying everything about him. God entrusted you with one of his very special children. This is a special job that he knows you're capable of doing. He doesn't make mistakes. You have to learn to change your goals for him, up or down, without being discouraged. You will be fine. This email really helped change the outlook on my parents. When I was a child, my mom felt guilty that she had brought me into this world with a handicap, because she thought that no matter how much she or I tried, I would not be able to enjoy the life of a child without a disability. She raised me as a normal child, and it wasn't until I was older that I realized I had something different. After my mother read this email, she stopped feeling sorry for me, because she realized I was unique in my own way, and if I didn't let that deter me from my happiness, then neither should she. Everyone has a disability, because disabilities go beyond the physical aspect. I've learned that disability does not need to limit one's enjoyment of life at all. In an odd way, disability can be quite liberating. Mine has given me a different and very special view of the world. This unique outlook makes all the difference. In my case, I'm grateful, truly grateful for every day I live, because I know that I could be in much worse shape. Helen Keller, who is deaf, blind, and mute, once observed, self-pity is our worst enemy, and if we yield to it, we can never do anything good in the world. If we as human beings pity ourselves, we would never succeed. The point is to hit the ground running, no matter the situation. Pity is worth nothing to people with disabilities. The most important thing for them is equality.